Hi there mate, how's it going? It's Benja here, and this is a breakdown and review of Yellowstone Season 4 Episode 10 titled Grass on the Streets and Weeds on the Rooftops. Let's get Kayce, Summer and Jimmy out of the way before we get to the main event. Kayce's vision quest features his late brother Lee, who died all the way back in the first episode of Season 1 in a shootout between the Livestock Association and the Reservation Police. Lee's appearance suggests that Kayce's vision quest is about making a choice between the Dutton family and his own family. He sees two paths at the end of his vision quest, and both of them disturb him, as he later tells Monica that he has seen the quote-unquote end of us. It is my belief that one road leads to the demise of the Dutton family, while the other destroys his own family. Lee's appearance represents the destruction of the Yellowstone Ranch and the Dutton family. Avery's appearance, on the other hand, symbolizes the demise of his own family. The path Kayce chooses will be crucial for the outcome of this story, but this decision will be explored in Season 5, which is extremely lame because that is what we've come across throughout the season. Little to no progress on most fronts. Kayce has been absent from the main storyline. He just up and disappeared even though the Dutton family recently survived multiple attempts on their lives. So it is practically impossible for any sane human being to find Kayce's story this season convincing, because he could have been here midway through the season. I'll say that a lot over the course of this video, but I won't make the same point about our next subject, Summer, because she shouldn't have been on the show at all. It's not that her story stalled like Kayce's. No, it's that I can't for the life of me figure out why it was a good idea to introduce her in the first place. But she is here now and we have to talk about her. John did say he would talk to the judge about Summer's situation, and he keeps his promise, but Judge Davis does not seem too lenient. Even though the prosecution and the defense agree on a suspended sentence, the judge sentences her to multiple decades in prison. John calls in the favor Judge Davis owes him. The judge agrees to suspend the felonies and lowers Summer's prison time to 8 months. This judge was right about Summer though. She was breaking the law for no reason because what she was doing wasn't changing anything, making her just a low-life criminal with no tangible end product. If you're committing crimes and your actions are in vain, should you just be let go? I don't think so. That said, the judge's initial sentencing was way too harsh. I don't think she deserves to spend decades in prison, but she shouldn't get off with no prison time either. So I suppose in the end, 8 months is fair. Jimmy's back from the 4-6's ranch. He's brought Metallic Cat to Yellowstone. That's the name of the new horse they own, which has won more than $30 million in prize money. Jimmy has brought Emily with him too. They are engaged now, and this angers Maya, who for some reason is still hanging out in the bunkhouse. How Laramie and Maya are still on this show, I have no idea, but anyway, Maya and Emily get into it. Jimmy gets a handle on the situation and has a chat with Maya. Maya did tell him that if he left, they would be through, but now she's expecting him to take her back. Fair to say Jimmy has made the right choice by picking Emily. Maya is insufferable. John and Jimmy catch up after this. John says Jimmy's debt has been paid and he doesn't have to stay here, so Jimmy and Emily head back to Texas at the end of the episode. And weirdly, Jimmy has had the most recognizable and the most sound character arc this season. His new cowboy skills and his mature attitude impresses the other ranch hands. He shares an emotional moment with Lloyd, who has always been nice to Jimmy, and this scene made me a little bit sad. Lloyd can't even talk when Jimmy is leaving. He just tips his hat, and Jimmy gets a happy ending as he rides off into the sunset. Does this mean he should have gotten this much screen time this season? Absolutely not. I still maintain that they should have caught up with Jimmy in a single episode, maybe across 2 episodes at most. They should have had like a 15-minute sequence one week and be done with that until his return in the finale. So even though I think Jimmy's story is convincing, I don't like the way they handled it. It was in Texas, so it had little to do with Yellowstone and the main storyline. It broke up the pace and the flow a bit too much. Time to talk about our main storyline. Beth is packing up to start the season 4 finale, and she's getting ready to leave the main lodge because what she did to Summer was too much for John to accept. Beth makes too much noise, waking up Rip, who tells her that if she breaks his promise to him, it will stay broken. She can't come back after a while and expect things to be the same between them. She's used to doing that, but that's not gonna cut it anymore. This ultimatum causes Beth to change her mind. She wakes up John, finally saying that she's sorry for what she's done to Summer and that she will fight the way John wants her to fight. She then asks John if she can stay, and John gives her his permission, while also making sure to say that he loves her. Last week, this falling out between John and Beth seemed like a turning point in the story because it put Beth in a position she had never been before, and I was curious as to how she would react, what she would do, if she would continue to fight for his father and the ranch. And for this conflict to be resolved this easily was definitely disappointing. They gave Lloyd and Walker multiple episodes to figure it out, but all it takes for John and Beth is mere minutes. That is not a good start. What followed was better though, because Caroline decides she's had enough. She figures out that Beth has been working against them from the inside, so she fires Beth. Caroline warns Beth that they'll be coming after her because she has committed corporate espionage. Beth doesn't care too much because she thinks that'll be impossible to prove. Caroline goes on to launch a personal attack, promising to turn the Dutton Lodge into a public restroom when she's done with them. She says she'll do unspeakable things to the ranch, and I can't say what it is because YouTube doesn't like the R word, but fair to say Caroline is angry. We had a similar encounter earlier in the season, albeit that one was a lot less confrontational, but Caroline still acted sorta like Beth there and also here, so Beth is on the other side of these long tirades for once, and that was fun to watch. Earlier in the day, Beth and Carter have a little moment when Carter says to her, "Morning mama," and she answers back by saying, "Hey baby." This interaction is rather casual, but Beth stops, thinks for a few seconds, and then tells Carter not to call her mama because, according to her, she's not Carter's mom, she is his friend. Carter can't hold back his tears because Beth is her usual mean self. She could have been gentler, but she chose violence. We'll get to the reason why she did this in a few seconds, but this is why I just can't stand Beth. Why you would hurt a child like that, I never understand. I get that Beth is rightly emotional about this, but it doesn't give her the right to hurt others. These kinds of interactions can really harm a child because they are emotional and they don't know how to deal with rejection. As to why Beth doesn't want Carter to view her as his mother, there is a good reason for it. She's planning to do something drastic soon. She plans to visit Riggins in prison, and if things were to go wrong, Carter would lose his mother once again. Beth doesn't want Carter to feel like he's lost his mother for a second time, but like I said, she could have been gentler while explaining this. We learn about Beth's prison plan during her conversation with Walker. She asks him about conjugal visits, and she would like to know how to get a weapon into jail. And Walker says she should distract the guards with her quote-unquote assets, if you know what I mean, to sneak in a hairpin. How she's able to put this conjugal visit together without Riggins' knowledge is a mystery, but here we are. Riggins admits that he wasn't the mastermind of the assassination plot and that he told this to the lawyer who interviewed him, meaning Jamie. And because of this, Beth doesn't go through with her initial plan to kill Riggins, instead delivering a monologue that is unbelievably cheesy, even for her. It doesn't make a lick of sense why she would say these things. The speech is incredibly generic. It might as well have been written by a 12-year-old who thinks they are cool. So just flat out horrible piece of writing here with that monologue. And with the fact that Riggins doesn't do anything to Beth. Like he just stands there and listens. Why? Beth will take care of this Jamie problem, but first she has to do something at the ranch. She kidnaps a priest at gunpoint, brings him to the ranch and tells Rip they're getting married. Of course she does. Rip grabs Lloyd, so he's there as Rip's best man, which was good to see after everything Lloyd has gone through. They get married and Rip gives Beth his mother's wedding ring. He retrieved that at the end of season 3, and that's why he wasn't around when the attack took place back then. I haven't got too much to say about this really. I guess I'm glad they're finally married because I wanted to see the wedding this season, and it makes sense for Beth to want to do this because of what she has to do next. That is paying Jamie a visit at the Attorney General's office and pulling a gun on him and revealing that she knows about Riggins. Jamie finally admits here that it was Garrett who put all of this together, and she says this can go one of two ways. First option would go like this. Beth and John expose what Garrett has done and how Jamie didn't act despite knowing about it. Garrett would turn on Jamie and Jamie would spend the rest of his life in prison. Beth claims Garrett doesn't really love Jamie and he would turn on his son the first chance he got. The second option would see Rip kill Garrett, then Beth would tell Rip about the abortion and how Jamie had Beth sterilized, so it's not hard to guess what Rip would do next. Just as Beth gets ready to leave, Jamie starts begging on his knees and Beth comes up with a third option, and we soon learn what this one entails when Jamie goes back to his ranch. Garrett is sitting by a creek when Jamie arrives. He's all packed up and ready to leave, because remember, he can't be around if Jamie wants to run for governor. I've said throughout the season that Garrett was manipulating Jamie, and I still believe that, but I may have underestimated just how much Garrett actually loves Jamie. Because Garrett's speech here seems completely genuine when he tells Jamie to never let the Duttons deceive him into thinking he's a bad man. Garrett knows that his son is weak, he's got everything going for him, but his inability to fight the Duttons never changes. And if Jamie wants to be the main man around here, he's gonna have to figure out how he can stand up to the Duttons. Garrett tells his son he loves him. Jamie says it back before shooting him in the head. That was the third option. He takes his father's body to the train station where Beth surprises him by taking a photo of him carrying the body. She says Jamie belongs to her now and leaves, which is without a doubt the single worst moment in the history of Yellowstone. Here's why. Firstly, let's keep in mind that Jamie is a cold-blooded killer. He's killed a journalist in season 2 because she was going to expose him, and now he's killed his biological father because otherwise Beth was going to expose Jamie. So keep that in mind. Jamie is a cold-blooded killer who is ready to hurt other people if that protects him. And at this point in time, Beth is the single biggest threat to Jamie. And he's got her at the train station, this supposed zone of death where everybody dumps the bodies because there aren't enough residents in that county to form a jury. So then, why not kill the person you hate the most in this world when you've got her in the most convenient place possible? She made you kill your father, so take care of her, delete the photo, dump the bodies, and voila! The fact that Jamie lets Beth go here is not only illogical, but it is also a missed opportunity from a dramatic standpoint. You give this subjugated character a chance to break free, to get rid of his chains, and if you allow him to take that chance, you make him a great antagonist because he kills one of the most liked characters on television, Beth. That would have been just incredible, but what do you do? Well, we've already discussed that. The blackmail side of this doesn't make any sense in the first place. Jamie should have told Beth to go ahead and expose him at the Attorney General's office, because it's not like Jamie can expose everything John has got up to with his mafia-like organization, right? No, if Jamie goes down, all of them go down. That's where this falls apart. It's mutually assured destruction. So blackmailing shouldn't work, because this would destroy John and Beth and the ranch, and a lawyer who graduated from Harvard should realize that. So I mentioned two alternative endings there. Either Jamie retorts Beth at the AG's office, or Jamie kills Beth at the train station. Both of them I think would have been a lot better for this story. They're still not ideal, but this is what we've got to work with at the end of a lackluster season. And in fact, lackluster is the word I'd use if I had to pick only one to describe this season. The final moments of the episode feature Beth and John. John is worried that Beth killed Jamie because John still loves Jamie and feels like he is his son. Beth tells him he can relax because Jamie is alive and they own him now. Cutter enters the scene with two horses as Beth leaves. John doesn't feel like riding today because he can't see the point, but Cutter says it's supposed to be just for fun. Rip told him that one day no one will ride, so they should enjoy it while they can. This gets John in the mood and they ride off as season 4 comes to an end. This video has already gone on for a bit too long, so let me list just a few issues with this season. The bunkhouse feud, Maya and Laramie's ongoing appearances for no reason, 4/6's advertisements with Jimmy, Kayce's disappearance from the main plot, the 2-month time jump in the premiere, Monica and Tate's weird encounters, Monica in general, I don't even have to mention that, Garrett not getting the attention he deserves, John and Garrett only having one scene together, even though both of these together on more scenes would have been electric, the summer storyline, Jamie continuing to be a coward and showing no character development at all, Rainwater's absence, and I can go on, because this season is full of problems, and it feels like Taylor Sheridan tried to stretch 5 or 6 episodes of content into a 10-episode season, and this is the end result. The show's commercial success is one thing, because the show is getting insane ratings. It is the most watched cable show on TV. But I do wonder if Taylor Sheridan is satisfied with this season in terms of the story when he compares it to the first 2, or to his films, or to his new show 1883. I am going to give Yellowstone one last chance next season, but if it's anything like this one, I'll just stop and enjoy 1883, which Taylor Sheridan seems to care about a lot more. It's time to reveal my rating now. You can see my scale on the left hand side. I will give Yellowstone Season 4 a 5 out of 10. Let me put that into context because I'm sure a lot of you will be shocked. I think the first season deserves a 9 out of 10. The second season was probably around an 8 out of 10. And season 3 I would say was a 7. So when you compare this season to those ones, I can't go any higher than 5. A better season finale may have increased my rating to a 6, maybe even a 7, but that hasn't happened. That's all from me for now. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the season finale and season 4 in general. Tell me what you would rate it out of 10. Like this video if you've enjoyed this breakdown, and subscribe for more movie reviews and TV show breakdowns. Take care and see you in the next video.